which of these three mistakes will you make? There are a few things that you need to do, strategic shift that you need to take in order to sell online, because this isn't the same approach as you may use like in a one-on-one setting or in a face-to-face setting. There are different ways to do things. Some of them are very similar to stage selling, how you are able to sell on stage, but you have to tweak the strategy a bit in order to apply it to the right platform. So one of the first things I want to talk about to you guys first is that you got to understand that you got to have that mindset shift of thinking this is exactly the same thing as one-on-one selling. And let's go closer to one-to-many selling. Now, I know that you guys may struggle with one of those things or maybe both of them, but you got to understand from the beginning that those two things are totally different skills. Yet the end results is pretty much the same. You get a sale, that's cool, you help somebody, but the process that you need to take the person from this point, the customer, is very, very different. For example, on a one-on-one selling, what you're going to do is that you're going to greet that person, fact find what their needs, what they really want. Then you're going to handle some objections. You can do that face to face or maybe via the phone or Zoom call. And then ultimately you're going to close them. Now you may see why this isn't applicable when you're doing one-to-many selling, because hey, you cannot talk to each person individually, cannot understand the specific needs to each and every one of them. And the thing is, there are benefits and cons and pros to those two methods. Of course, like sometimes you're going to have to do bigger deals. Like let's say one day you want to buy a big real estate apartment complex, and that situation you need to be good at one-on-one selling. You need to master the two. But if you need to make as much money as in a shorter amount of time as possible, one-to-many selling is the solution, because when you're able to do that, the time you can spend on one customer can actually be spent on 500, 1,000, like as many customers as you want, and you're actually able to make as much money as possible in that amount of time. Let's take one of my mentors, for example, Russell Brunson. If you guys know Grant Cardone, the next guy, he was at his conference, I think 2019 it was. 2019. The guy, did you know how much the guy made in 1 hour and 30 minutes? Like he basically broke a world record of the highest paid speaker in like all history. He made $3.2 million in 1 hour and 30 minutes. And then the second day he made like around like another 300K on some kind of resale. And then after that, what's even crazier about that is that this is not the final number that he done with that campaign. This is like, if you know how to do sales funnel and online marketing, and if you really understand the processes, what you got to do when you go from there, that's the starting point, because now he acquired all those customers that came through and that bought his product. Now those guys are in his sequence, and the most amount of money he will make, maybe, and I'm sure he already did, 10x the amount of money that he just made in that events, because he understands how to follow up and put those people through a sequence and basically put them into other upsells and brought them into his universe. But the thing is, there's a huge impact and a huge scale that you can get if you are able to do one-to-many selling. And that's extremely important that you get good at the both of them, because though the both of them will be really useful for you in each situations depending on what happens in your life. But if you want to look at one that will especially give you the most amount of results as fast as possible, this is one-to-many selling, and you should learn both. But one-to-many selling can get you some pretty great bags of money and help you to actually help as many people as possible, as fast as possible as well. And one of the things that you got to understand when you are trying to sell, and that's also true for one-on-one selling and one-to-many, is that you got to stop selling with logic. In the training that we do, when I often do like, one-on-one selling, we try to handle objection, do cold call, and make sure that we get better at one-on-one selling. One of the things that we do is that we make sure when we do a presentation that we do not talk about what we call the features, because people don't give a shit about the features. They don't want to hear, okay, you're going to get the sunroof, you're going to get that digital marketing strategy, those Facebook ads. They don't really care about that. They don't really care about this. What do they really care? They care about the end results. They care about how it's going to fulfill their purposes. And in one-to-many selling, one of the things that you guys have to do is always go back through emotions, because remember, whenever something big happened in your life, a big change, something that led to incredible changes and things that happened in your life, the breakthrough, the epiphany that you got was never something that you went through logic. Never. It was always something emotional, something that happened in that moment that involved big emotions and realization, big aha moments. You know what I mean? And after that, you dove deep into that things and try to like add some logic into it to maybe understand more what happened and how we can make it better. But the thing is, it started with an epiphany. So if you want to welcome people into your world and break the ice, you got to use that same process to them. So you got to make them have that breakthrough, that epiphany that you got the same way. And you got to use emotions to do that. You got to use feelings. You got to use a story to make them go through that journey. Because if you try to tell them with like what's great about your product, what's great about your services, they're not going to buy. But if you tell how it changed your life, how it actually helps you to get to the place that you always wanted to be to achieve that results, if you selected your customers correctly and you talk to the right people, they're going to have the same envies, the same things the same end results that you were chasing for. And they're going to see you directly as the expert, as the go-to person to help them actually reach their results. So that's why it's extremely important to do that. What's up, Lee? Welcome to the Clubhouse Room. If you guys on YouTube like this show, if you do like this, make sure that you go on the Clubhouse Room because, hey guys, I do this every day at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you prefer going in Clubhouse, I'm not going to prevent you to do so. And one of the last things I want to talk about in that first part is that if you're not, one of the things that I see a lot of people, and that's also true for one-to-many selling, one-on-one selling, the thing that you gotta understand is that people don't buy if there is no urgency. If they don't have to do it now, they will not do it. And I see that all the time with products or ads that were thrown at me. I don't have any urgency, don't have any things like, sometimes I want to do the thing, but I don't have the interest. I just want okay, that's a great thing to do, but later. Like I want to do that thing later. But when you look at it, I would say maybe 99% of those things that I say, okay, I'm going to do them, but later. That's something I want to do, but later. The thing with that is when I look back, honestly, I believe that 90% of those things that I said, later, no problem, I will do it, but later, well, actually, I didn't do them. And that's the same thing with your customers. So if you do not put a genuine, genuine urgency aspect to your offer, you're going to lose. So you got to really figure out how we can be like genuine urgency, by the way, not something that's bullcrap and that you're like, oh yeah, like we're gonna close those things and you're never gonna do it. And then like 3 days later, they see, oh, you can get it again. Now you just destroyed the trust that they got into you. But find a way to create that true urgency, that real urgency that you can do in order to create that thing, that urgency to buy, because that's going to actually push them to get to the next results.